Hey everybody, Nathan King here with Jason Caldwell. Join us over at auburnundercover.com. It's a huge week getting ready for the Iron Bowl, the coaching search, Auburn's coaching search. Athletic Director John Cohen in the final stages, trying to figure out who Auburn's next coach is going to be. We're going to have all that covered. Auburn basketball playing out in Las Vegas. There is no better time to join us and become a subscriber. 75% off you can get right now through the end of this coaching search, and we'd love to have you over there. Jason, we do our best to cover it on a daily basis, and it's been fun so far.
Absolutely, got a lot going on. It's going to be a busy week, obviously. It's around Thanksgiving, so hey, when you're around the table, you give you something to talk about. Check out auburnundercover.com. You can go and fill everybody in on the latest from Auburn. Go check us out, 75% off.
Absolutely, don't want to be out of the loop around the family. So go join us over at auburnundercover.com. Hope to see you guys there. Welcome on in, everybody, to the Postgame Pod here at Auburn Undercover. Nathan King, joined by Jason Caldwell, Patrick Bingham behind the camera. Auburn breezes to a senior day win over Mercer, 62-17 here inside of Jordan-Hare Stadium. And Jason, I want to take you back a couple days to Thursday Night Live. I believe your exact words were, "I'll be surprised if we don't see a Deuce Knight 75-yard touchdown run in this game."
I thought about it at first. I didn't know if it would be the first play of the game, but I thought there would be a play in this game where you saw him catch a defense off guard, because he doesn't look like he's moving that fast, and
right.
You look up and he's gone, and yeah, it happened first play of the game. So I did think about that today.
And I also thought about your player comparison when Deuce Knight signed with Auburn, being Vince Young. Not to say that we think he's going to be a Heisman caliber guy, but he just reminds you when he takes off and runs of a big, tall guy, and it's like, oh, he's moving.
Yeah,
and you don't even realize.
Covers so much more ground than you think. Strong arm. He zipped some balls in there today. I thought he did once early on, kind of finding his footing a little bit. I thought he really settled in throwing the football. Did some good things. I thought the play to Malcolm for the 91-yard touchdown was extending a play and hey, giving my guy a chance. It's hard not to like what you saw from Deuce Knight today.
Absolutely. We were saying it all week. You needed to figure out what you had in a guy like Deuce Knight. Now, Mercer is Mercer. It's a good FCS team, of course, better offensively than they are defensively, but doesn't really matter who you play when you have 6 total touchdowns. That ties the Auburn record for most in a game. Deuce Knight had 4 rushing touchdowns, all of which came in the first half. He had another long touchdown run and then 2 designed quarterback runs in the red zone. His 4 rushing touchdowns, that ties Cam Newton for the most rushing touchdowns by an Auburn quarterback in a game. And so really there's not much more you can say, Jason, about just a dazzling performance for him. You mentioned the Malcolm Simmons 91-yard touchdown. That is tied for the 3rd longest passing play in Auburn football history, and he just kind of created some space through off-platform downfield for 50 or 60 yards. And so Deuce Knight, I thought, was everything we thought he could be, everything we thought he could look like as a 5-star quarterback freshman, and he showed you tons of promise in this game.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job too. We saw Malcolm Simmons more involved than we've seen out of him. Again, used the middle of the field again for the 2nd game in a row in the passing game. I thought was really impressive. Did a good job of spreading it around some. And I think being patient in the pocket. He's a guy that knows he has the ability to escape.
Yep.
So he can hold it a little bit longer and then still get out of harm's way for the most part. So I thought all in all a really good day. Didn't run it especially well, but it was a much different, I don't want to say much different, but they pared this thing down to go, hey, this is what Deuce likes, this is what we're going to do. They didn't do a whole lot of things in a run game. They weren't going to take a whole lot of chances in a run game, pretty basic in that area, but then they did a lot of things with Deuce to kind of give him some comfortability in the passing game. I thought it looked good. Yeah,
Jason, we'll circle back to quarterback and kind of the discussion for next week. Obviously, Jackson Arnold got into this game as well, but it was tough sledding there at the early going for Auburn's defense, down 14-7 early on, and then the rest of the game really settled in nicely. And look, you knew Mercer had the potential to do that. They came out, they're very aggressive passing attack, and DJ Durkin talked about it after the game. He said, look, it wasn't some schematic stuff, but it was more of just hey guys, we need to wake up a little bit and just kind of settle in. We've seen that from Durkin's defenses over the last couple of years. Yeah. They do a nice job late first quarter, early second quarter, making those adjustments. And from then on out, I believe it was only 10 first downs the rest of the game for Mercer, and obviously only 3 points. Auburn's defense forces 3 turnovers, and so a nice day for them before, as we mentioned, a big challenge in the passing game against Alabama.
And honestly, I thought this was a much better offense than several of the SEC teams that Auburn's played.
Absolutely.
I thought, especially from a scheme standpoint, they did really good. Yeah. They can challenge you, and they did for a while, but I thought Auburn did a really good job of especially tackling. They finally got some pressure. and you saw the Auburn speed take over. Bryce Diaz was all over the place, and Xavier Atkins, you saw him make some plays. Chris Murray gets to the quarterback, and they played a bunch of different guys. So I thought there was a whole lot going on there. Really, the only negative defensively was Sylvester Smith getting a targeting call, so you'll lose him for the first half of the Alabama game. They got a lot of guys back there, though, so you got some depth to work with there. But, yeah, I thought after a slow start, they really played pretty darn good for most of the day.
Yeah, and obviously, Sylvester Smith, fourth or fifth safety-ish adjacent right now, and Caleb Harris makes an interception in this game. I thought Eric Winters made some good plays. And another personnel note, DJ Durkin was asked after the game about Keldrick Falk and his injury. I didn't even see what it was necessarily, just saw him come off the field. You don't risk it. Christian saying is a shoulder issue. You don't risk it in this game. I mean, you don't really put him back in if he's feeling uncomfortable. We won't know about that till Monday.
Yeah, and as long as there's nothing structural, you feel like, hey, they got him out of the game. Played some other young guys, and so we'll see what it looks like. He was walking around still in the huddle at the end of the game. Didn't have his pads on. They're like, take those off. Yep. So we'll see. But I would hopefully that he'll be okay there. Yeah, you're right. Other than that. You had a couple of guys get dinged up here or there, but nothing real serious coming out of this game.
Yeah, for sure. And thought it was interesting that Keldrick Falk goes through senior day. A guy who's a true junior. If there was ever any question, which there is not, and there has not been for a long time, that he will not be at Auburn next year, and he will be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He was honored at senior day. I wanted to mention as well, we wrote about it and everybody talked about it, but I thought it was a really cool moment for Brian Battie to get honored at senior day. Hopefully a little bit of closure for him. Obviously his playing career was ended when he was involved in a shooting last year in his hometown of Sarasota, Florida. Comes out today, easily Keldrick's going to be a top 10 pick, one of the best defensive players, and Brian Battie gets a bigger roar from the crowd because I think you start to slowly see the realization of people realizing who it was, and just an awesome moment for him to be able to have that today.
Yeah, and I got a chance actually to see him and kind of give him a little bit of a hug before the game when he was coming off the field. That was pretty cool. So Luke Deal was there on the sidelines waiting for him to say hey, and so some of those guys that were been around him and some of those teammates, it was good to see them have a chance to kind of see Brian today.
Just one more thing I wanted to note about guys in this game. Alex McPherson has now made 12 straight field goals since that one moron tweeted about him that one time after he went 1 of 4 against Missouri. Ever since then, he has not missed one, including a 47-yarder and a 49-yarder. I think you like the direction of your kicking game going into the Iron Bowl because the Iron Bowl has some field goal stuff go on sometimes.
It's happened before, yes.
And Alabama's kicker missed a 28-yard field goal today. So surely none of those things will come up next week. But obviously we'll get into the Iron Bowl over the course of the week. One thing we will get into as well, I would assume, Jason, that the expectation Ashton Daniels just slide right back in at quarterback. I can't see them playing.
I would think Ashton back in. The interesting thing is what you saw today enough to go, hey, if we get in a bind, that may be the direction we may want to go and do some of those similar things with a guy like Deuce versus Alabama because of his speed, athleticism. It might open up the window for him, a question you ask, and they don't know yet.
Sure.
But who the backup might be. He might not technically be the backup, but you might have a situation where you play him, whereas Jackson might still be the number 2 guy. I think that opened that door today.
For sure. I mean, and that's why you get these data points. I think that's why they played him for so long in this game. Correct. DJ Durkin said it this week. He said you can't play pickup football. It's important to go out there and get reps when you have the opportunity to do it. And so, again, the expectation would be Ashton Daniels comes back in. I mean, let's not forget, 2 weeks ago, 400-plus yards and 4 touchdowns for him at Vanderbilt.
Hey, let's give Derek Nix some love.
Absolutely.
Because that is 2 straight games with 2 different quarterbacks. They've gone out and done the same thing. So great plans, efficient, not asking them to do too much, really good rhythm on the offense. Got to give those guys on that offensive side of the ball a lot of credit.
Yeah, and I thought you mentioned it earlier, I thought you saw Deuce Knight. Look, he scored a touchdown on the first play, but throwing the ball wise, I thought you saw him kind of settle in after the first quarter or so. And so now we turn the page to the Iron Bowl week, and obviously it's going to be a huge one. Night game at Jordan-Hare Stadium, first night Iron Bowl in this stadium since 2007. And going to be a wild game, bowl opportunity on the line for Auburn, but more so than that, it's Alabama. You don't need any of these external things for it to matter.
It's big enough as it is. You got a chance to do some damage to their chances. You got a chance to get to a bowl game. But the biggest thing is that it's your rivalry game, and you got a chance to go out and win and finish the season on a high note. Doesn't
matter who the coach is. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It's always a big deal when you play Alabama. Should figure out who the coach is maybe sometime soon. Who John Cohen's hire is going to be, and so we'll be keeping track of that as best we can and keeping you guys in the loop because it could get We'll see how it goes. It could get pretty crazy. We'll see what old Lane Kiffin has to say over there at Ole Miss.
Yeah, a whole lot going on. I still think, after the Iron Bowl, then it becomes coach watch time.
Absolutely.
Pretty soon after that. So this next week will lead up to that big game, and then big news coming. We'll see. Hopefully pretty soon after.
AuburnUndercover.com for a huge week coming up. Of course, it's going to be feast week for Auburn basketball as well. They're going to play 3 big games out in Las Vegas. So we'll see you guys over at AuburnUndercover.com. Thank you so much for joining us and listening in today. For Jason Caldwell, I am Nathan King, Patrick Bingham behind the camera. We'll talk to you guys soon.